Welcome to episode 57 of the Creating Connections podcast. Today, we're going to chat about a recent industry conference that Vickie had the pleasure of speaking at and also providing a workshop for.
And talk about the importance of seeking out local training opportunities that are in your region.
Stay tuned.
That was nice and easy.
What are you talking about? This also speaks to a much bigger issue.
Providing personal solutions through understanding people. This is the Creating Connections podcast with Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musni.
Hi, Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor.
And Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musni.
Today is episode 57 of the podcast, and we had the chance, actually you had the chance, the pleasure of being at Midwest DJs Live.
You were there for the pre-day workshop. So you were there before the official event started.
Yes.
But yes, this was my first time at that show, and I had such a great time. I'm realizing I really enjoy the smaller regional conferences. They just have a different feel. Nothing against the big national shows in Vegas and Toronto and stuff like that. But those regional shows just feel different, and you really get a chance to experience the personality of the show.
Absolutely. It's
fun.
A one-on-one connection with the attendees, and you're not all, flocking to different places after the conference because it's Vegas or it's Toronto, and you're able to break bread and maintain those connections.
Well, and maybe it was just like this Midwest hospitality thing, but I mean, from the minute I walked into the building, they brought me this speaker welcome bag, but like Ellen called it the Welcome to Wisconsin bag, and everything in it was made right there in their own region. And it was really special, and it made for some very fun moments throughout the event. Plus, it was practical. I had never heard of a kringle before.
You mean it was practical that you got to drink before you actually had breakfast?
I was talking about the kringle. I wasn't even going to bring up the rum chata. Thank you. But that's apparently also made in Milwaukee. But a kringle is like this giant Danish. So Allison and I just had it in our hotel room. We didn't have to worry about going out to breakfast early in the morning and being ready in time. We just had this amazing Danish that we could just take a piece off and break it and eat it every time.
Right, because rum chata and kringle has no calories whatsoever.
I'm really glad that you were not on this trip because I had so much fun with Allison.
Good. All right, so break us down some of the details of Midwest DJs Live.
Okay. For me, I absolutely loved the way that it was set up. And selfishly, I had the best position ever because I got to do my workshop on Sunday afternoon. And then they booked me for a 2-hour seminar, which I don't do very often, but that was really fun. So I had the whole morning time slot Monday morning. And then after that, 2 things happened. One, I mostly got to switch into attendee mode, because all of my official presentations were done. And I sat there with my notebook. I used an old school notebook and took notes and got to just listen and absorb the other presenters. But then what was really fun, and this was, I think, by virtue of the fact that I got to go first in presenting, but also because my topic relates to so many different areas of business, that the color conversation kept coming up, and that was fun. I mean, I can't even tell you how many presenters brought up some reference to something that I said or that happened during the interactive part of the seminar. So of course it was fun because it felt good, but it was more than that. It was me as a presenter wanting to know that the information I shared, the audience received and heard and latched onto and saw it as valuable. But it was more than that because it helped the bonding at the show because everybody was there. It was the very first thing.
Yep.
Nobody had to miss it. The show floor wasn't even open yet. There was no competition. They were all just kind of forced to be in my audience. So it worked out well for me.
Many show producers will try to have like a running theme, and it's sometimes by default or sometimes by accident, sometimes by choice, And I know that Alan Robb and Big Ron and all the guys that work together to put on Midwest DJs Live, they do a great, great job Gino Neri.
Yeah, they had a good variety of presenters, great topics, and it was just a really fun show. And like I said, selfishly, I was excited that I got to go, early on in the presentation, because then I could just sit there and absorb and hear the different sessions. And there were a few people that I knew who were presenting, like Bill Hermann and Jim Cerrone.
Yep.
And then there were others that were from that local region that had, a specific skill set or a really unique topic that I didn't know who they were. And so that was kind of fun too, because I was the new kid. I was the one that they brought in from the farthest away.
Okay, so give me your 3 biggest takeaways.
I should have made my long list, or made my full notes, but I didn't transfer them into action steps.
Okay.
So one of them, I think, was a result of Geoffrey Sandler's seminar.
Okay.
A profit from nonprofit events. And I think that I always felt like my options were to either say yes and, work for a really low rate.
Sure.
And just chalk it up to supporting a cause that I liked, or I could say no, I can't do that right now. And I had never really processed well that those are not the only 2 options, that I can work for nonprofits, that I can partner with them and help them find sponsorships that cover my fees. And putting things in my own business, like as a DJ Trivia affiliate, we get asked to provide trivia for some of these fundraising events.
Absolutely.
And I know what my normal rate is, and what I've been doing is just, okay, well, I'll do it for half of my normal rate because you're a nonprofit, and climb up my nonprofit rate. Well, what I really need to do is just say, our games are broken up into 4 rounds. So let's find 4 sponsors, and each sponsor can sponsor a round.
Absolutely.
And that covers my full costs. And I can probably get them to get sponsors that cover more than my costs. So they're starting off a little bit ahead anyways. And what a win-win that would be. And yes, of course, I still need to be selective about what groups I work with. But that was one big one for me, was just my takeaway was just, I really need to rethink how I answer that phone call that says, hey, do you want to provide services for our charity event or our fundraiser?
Yep.
And while I'm not in a position to say yes to all of them, I can help them and help my bottom line and not feel guilty. Bill's seminar was titled "You're Always on Stage." And I love listening to Bill Hermann. You can't even really take notes because his whole seminar is an experience in and of itself. And I love that. And he pretty much had 2 points. 1, you're always on stage. And 2, you need to smile. So the idea was thinking about your space as a stage and being aware of the background for everything and how we can help work with the other event professionals and our couples to be creative. Because we're working in different locations all the time.
Absolutely.
But just being aware of what's in the background. And I know, especially in a lot of the DJ forums, there's a lot of people that are posting their setup and they're aware of things, like cords and, how clutter and dealing with photographers that decide it's a great idea to set their, camera bags down right in front of your setup. But I love how the whole second half of his seminar was focused on smiling. And at one point, he actually stopped the audience. He said, I want you to smile real big, look around at everyone, and keep your smile the rest of the time I'm talking. And I don't even know how many minutes it was that we had to do it. And he said, if you stop smiling, you're going to have to raise your hand. And it was just really interesting because, we have 2 chapters about smiling in our book.
Absolutely.
But to hear it and I just spoke about it at a different regional conference I was at the week before. But just to hear it, that reaffirmation that sometimes we can get so focused on our specific job. And the way when Craig and I do entertainment, he's the DJ, I'm the MC. So there are times when I maybe say, okay, well, this is his part. He's DJing now. And I forget I'm still on stage. I'm the one that they've been watching since they walked into the room. And I'm the one that led them through all of, the special events. And just because it's the dancing time, I'm not off. And same with him. When he's, behind the station taking care of making the musical magic happen, just because I'm out front with the microphone, he's still on stage. And just being conscious of that. And so that was another one, even the stuff that I knew already, but just those really good reminders. And that practical, just how long can you smile? Because you know what, your mouth gets tired, and you have to, you have to work those muscles, and you have to really be conscious of it.
Your whole embouchure, it's important to work those muscles.
The other thing that Bill said that I absolutely loved was he did this analogy. I don't even know if it was planned or spontaneous, but he talked about diamonds and what makes diamonds: pressure. And he said, if you really want to shine, the best pressure that you can put on yourselves is a huge price tag. And that's something that he's been challenging me personally for quite a while. And you and I have had this conversation, and many others in the industry that I respect. I've been hearing this theme, but somehow putting it in that way to just not be afraid. At some point, you just have to, not just charge what you think you should get, but then you have to follow it up by being worth every penny that you've charged. And hearing that again, but a different way. So it's beyond just getting what you're worth. It's being what you're worth. And
which is part of the 10A of getting what you're worth.
Of course. But for me, I have to mentally shift that. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe just because I'm a girl and I like shiny things. But thinking about it in terms of that, the diamonds require pressure to shine. And that's the best thing you can do, because if you're in a price bracket that is so far above anybody else in your area, you damn well better be performing and delivering at that level. Yeah. And that was a reminder that I really needed to hear.
So,
and that was all just from the first day.
Well, it's funny because, part of this video is talking about why you need to attend conferences, any local training, get your hands on. It's to put yourself under that pressure, and not just the pressure of the big price tag, but the pressure of being in a workshop and getting actual coaching on whatever discipline you feel you need to improve upon. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's been implored on me by Mark, by Bill Hermann, several years. And Bill talks about one of his mentors saying that if you're not on stage, you need to be in rehearsal or in workshop training. And if you're not in training, you need to be on stage. Mm-hmm. And that's the truth.
And it's cyclical. You don't ever arrive.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a teacher, but I've always just been such a big advocate for continuing education. And I think sometimes people feel like, oh, well, that's an hour away or it's 2 hours away. So what? Do it.
Who cares?
It's not a flight. I get it. It's a little different if you're planning to fly across country, but you've got these annual shows. You've got the whole year to plan. You should do those anyways. But there's no excuse for not attending the ones that are right in your backyard.
There's no excuse, in my opinion, for not attending at least one conference or workshop per year. If you are truly dedicated to your craft, to your business, to your clients, to your wife and your spouse, your husband, whatever might be, your kids, to truly provide for your family, you need to be sharpening that saw. You need to be in training, in workshop, in conference, learning some way, shape, or form. So I implore you to.
And you have to go, but you have to go with an open mind. You have to go ready to learn and know that you can learn something from every single presenter, from those conversations that you have. I mean, they had a great expo floor. There were lots of different companies represented. Ben Stowe was, of course, there with all of the new technology and many others that I recognize from other shows. So whether, you're working on the performance aspect or the business side of things, and you still want to, go play with new gear and see what's new and shiny, they're all there. Take advantage of them. And the price tag is so reasonable. There's just really no excuse not to go.
So reasonable. We implore you to get into training somehow, conference, workshop, seminar, and just do it.
Yeah.
You'll thank yourself later. I'm Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musni.
Are you looking for more ways to improve your skills? All you have to do is, I'll give you one source you can check out right now, creatingconnections.biz, and we'll post blog articles there that give you some updates of things coming on, of things happening soon in the industry. So I encourage you to check out our blog for more information there, creatingconnections.biz.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Creating Connections podcast with Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musni. For more information on providing personal solutions through understanding people better, visit creatingconnections.biz.